LinkedIn is pretty great at a lot of things, like helping you tap into the latest trends and insights in your field. We cannot stop your coworker from tapping her pencil. LinkedIn can help you find new jobs that align with your career goals. We cannot help you find the source of that weird smell in the office fridge. Ew. And while we can't stop your coworkers from bringing their hobbies into the office, LinkedIn can help you bring your career to the next level. LinkedIn is the network that works for you.
This episode is brought to you by Cologuard. Do you know what's really scary? Not screening for colon cancer when you turn 45. The Cologuard test is non-invasive, requires no special prep or time off work, and ships right to your door. In just 3 simple steps, Cologuard takes the scare out of colon cancer screening. If you're 45 or older and at average risk, ask your healthcare provider about the Cologuard test. Cologuard is available by prescription only. Learn more or request a prescription today at Cologuard.com/screen.
I'm RJ Decker, a private investigator, uncovering the Sunshine State's darkest secrets.
Tuesdays, it's the premiere of ABC's hottest new crime show.
RJ freaking Decker, as I live and breathe.
He's a private eye.
It's not a standard murder, it's something bigger.
And a public mess.
Trying to get sent back to prison today?
You go to prison one time and suddenly it's all the jokes.
RJ Decker, series premiere, Tuesdays on ABC and stream on Hulu.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to this edition of There Can Only Be One, the podcast that puts together the all-star best-of playlist of your favorite bands and artists. Hello to all of our listeners in Bloomington, Illinois, and around the world. How the heck are you guys doing? All right, so we're kind of on a bit of a roll here this month where we're talking about artists that maybe you haven't heard of before. Of course, 2 weeks ago, we talked about Beyond the Black, and they were freaking phenomenal. Highly recommend go listen to them and our episode 2. But now we're going back over to a North American band that maybe you haven't heard of before. And they haven't put out much, but what they have put out is pretty damn good. We're talking about a band called Icon for Hire. And here to join me, Alex Whistle's back on the show. Alex, how you doing, man?
I'm exhausted, but we are powering through.
All right. So this is one of those situations where occasionally I will sit there and say, I really want to talk about this band. And I'm going to pick someone to actually talk about this band. And Alex, you get to be the one to talk about this band. Had you ever heard of Icon for Hire before doing this episode?
No, I went in here just as blind as the last episode that we recorded.
So this is a very fresh look for you then, and fresh ears to the discography of Icon for Hire. So before we even get into our picks, I'm just going to ask you your initial thoughts as you were listening to their albums.
You know, I'm not really familiar with this genre of music. It's like a metal subgenre. Like I can't really compare it to anything that I have heard. Really, it's fresh to hear a female vocalist, so that's really nice. And yeah, it's like I was completely taken out of what I am used to musically, and like thrown in the deep end with this one.
But I mean, you also spend a lot of time doing remixes, so you get into the weeds when it comes to the stems of certain songs and whatnot. So knowing how much production value goes into these albums, how is that?
I think it's really wicked, especially their more recent albums compared to like the original productions and stuff like that. They've evolved pretty much from one end of the spectrum to the other.
All right. So we're going to be covering this band and their entire discography almost. So, as always, we don't cover any live compilations, that kind of stuff. We're not covering their first 3 EPs because the first 2, they had songs that appeared on the debut album. So it was kind of be retreading, going over songs again. And their third EP only had like 2 songs on it. So, it's like one or the other. It's like a coin toss at that point. But we're also not going to cover their Still Can't Kill Us album, which was acoustic versions of most of the songs of the album You Can't Kill Us. But since we're already going to be talking about You Can't Kill Us, we're not going to cover the acoustic one, even though it is actually very, very good. But that means we're going to cover 5 albums from the Icon for Hire discography. And we're going to start with their debut full-length album, Scripted. Released August 23rd, 2011. The band at this point is Ariel Bloomer, Sean Jump, and Adam Cronshagen. I apologize if I messed up any of those names. Remember, I'm an idiot in a basement with a microphone. Don't come to me for accuracy or for pronunciations. The album hit number 95 on the Billboard 200, number 7 on the Billboard Hard Rock Album Charts, and number 5 on the top Christian album charts. There were 5 singles off of this. Make a Move charted the highest, hitting number 13 on the U.S. Christian rock charts. So now, debut album, and they always say you've got your entire life to write your first album. How did they do on this?
You know, it was really intense. My first listen through. So I listened to the entire discography one time, like once over from start to finish. Boom. Made my choices. But then I stopped and I was like, I feel like I should give this another go, just because I felt like I didn't give it like a fair, listen to. And I did, and I completely changed all of my choices after the fact. But honestly, with an album like that, it's coming out of the gate pretty hot. You have so many I want to call them references, because again, I don't really have anything to base myself off of to compare it to, but you can hear similarities to that era of like their style of music. What is it, 2011? Yeah, it sounded like a 2011 album,
But I mean, that's not saying anything bad, because I mean, there was some decent music coming out in 2011.
Yeah.
Also, that's when you realize that album is 15 years old now.
Oh, God, that's half my age almost.
Oh man, I'm not doing math. I'm not doing math. All right. So, what is your pick off of Scripted?
I chose Only a Memory.
Very, very good song. Absolutely like that song. Actually, the funny thing is though, as much as I like that song, it didn't make my short list.
Ooh.
So on my short list, I had The Gray, Off With Her Head, and Up in Flames. But this is where I need to put this out there. I don't know what goes into the process of picking a single. I don't. I mean, obviously, sometimes when you make an album, you know right off the bat. You say, like, yeah, this is a banger. It's all good. Or, yeah, this is going to bring out the laters at the concert, or the tears while someone, But then there's the deep cuts. And what a deep cut is Pieces.
Yeah.
Like, listening to this, first of all, you end the album with this powerhouse of a song. That's also going to be the hardest part too. How do you start the album? How do you end the album? Pieces is literally the song that makes you want to, and I'm going to date people here, but hear me out. If this was an era where this album was released on a cassette, this would be the one where you hit the play reverse button, because you darn right you're listening to it again, because Pieces is that damn good. But really, it also has this really cool halftime drum beat near the end, as they're doing like the rally chorus. Also, Ariel's layered vocals on this. Like, obviously, there's not a lot of backup vocals from the other members of the band. This is Ariel doing a lot of vocal layering to kind of beefing it up, add harmonies here and there. And it really works on this song. And lyrically, it's also really catchy as hell.
So my short list, I didn't even have any of the songs that you had named. I only put one song really per album for my short list, because it was a little easier for me to pick that. But I picked Iodine, and I think for me, I don't know if I'm so used to listening to like more pop, commercially successful sort of albums. And so then I kind of like gravitate towards the catchy, or like the standout hooks or the standout riffs and stuff like that. But like you mentioned, like when you have like a multi-layer vocal and stuff like that also hits for me, because I love me some layers. So these songs are like onions, guys. If you know, you know.
That's the other thing too, is that, you know, you're talking about this as being like kind of in the alternative metal kind of genre, but there was a lot of production work that's going into this, and that is it doesn't go unnoticed. Like, these are well produced, especially for a debut album. And yes, I recognize there were EPs before this, but for a debut album on a smaller label, they really came out of the gate strong on this. Then you have their self-titled album released October 15th, 2013. We have a member addition at this point. Josh Kinchlow on bass has now joined the band. The album hit number 66 on the Billboard 200, number 8 on the hard rock charts, and number 4 on the Christian album charts. There were 4 singles off of this. Cynics and Critics charted the highest, hitting number 21 on the Christian rock charts. So, obviously, first album out of the gate. Hey, we got all our songs, it's all good. Now you got to do a follow-up. How did they do with the self-titled release?
I think they did really well. What made me chuckle is that their second album was a self-titled album. Normally you see the first albums be self-titled, at least in the 80s and 90s. You know, but I think for their follow-up album, you know, you notice that the money was well spent. You know.
And the funny thing is, like, you can go one of two ways on this, right? You can sit there and say, oh, hey, great. It's like, you have money now. You should be able to, you know, produce a better album kind of thing. But then you also have to throw in the extra songwriting as well. Like, you have so much already thrown into this first, you know, that first disc, all the hard work. You're finally there. It's all good. Yay. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, we got to do this all over again. And this time kind of from scratch. In honesty, I think I preferred the first album, but there are some gems off of this one. But off of their self-titled album, what did you go with?
Their self-titled. So my short list is Cynics and Critics.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was really fighting between this one and Counting on Hearts. And I ended up going with Counting on Hearts as being my top pick there.
I don't blame you on that one at all. For me, I did have Cynics and Critics, Hope of Morning, and Pop Culture on my short list. Rock and Roll Thugs, however, this is fun. This is just, I've never had a chance to see Icon for Hire live. I don't know. I know for a fact, I don't know exactly when, but I know for a fact that they have actually gigged in Canada. I just was not there. So if they ever come to town, yeah, I'm going to take a chance and go see them live. But this song just feels like one of those songs that's going to be like a really good, you know, raise your fist club banger. It's got a good chunky riff. It's got a great breakdown on this. Like, if you're going to make a song called Rock and Roll Thugs, it's got to have a little bit of hair on it, if you know what I'm talking about. This song does, absolutely.
Yeah.
Refreshing wild cherry cola meets smooth cream. The treat you deserve. Pepsi Wild Cherry and Cream. Treat yourself.
This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
An all-new season of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
Mom Talk has just been blowing up.
Whitney and Jen are on Dancing with the Stars.
Taylor is a bachelorette.
Saying that out loud is crazy. Like, that is huge.
But all the cool opportunities could pull us apart.
It's causing issues in everyone's marriage.
My whole world is falling apart right now. It's chaos.
Watch the Hulu original series, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply.
Next up is You Can't Kill Us, released November 25th, 2016 independently. So now they're completely on their own. And we have some member subtractions. Both Adam Cronshagen and Josh Kinchlow are now out of the band. So the band at this point really is just Ariel Bloomer and Sean Jump. Just the two of them. The album hit number 180 on the Billboard 200 and number 5 on the hard rock charts. There are 3 singles off of this one, supposed to be You Can't Kill Us and Demons. So now you've gone completely independent, just the two of them, straight songwriting. Your thoughts?
You could definitely tell. And it's not a compliment. I feel like the chart that they hit for both those categories is well deserved. Like, in almost 200 on the top 200. Yeah, but for number 5 for the rock, also, yeah, it has those elements that are really nice. They kept a lot of the sprinkles from the past albums on this, but it's very much its own thing as well.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be like a transition, right? You go from, a 3-piece, okay, to a 4-piece, to now all of a sudden it's just the two of you and you're doing pretty much everything on your own in the studio, which can't be easy, right? Because you really only have the two of you and the producer of the album to bounce things off of each other. And you're changing all of your songwriting ways, your recording ways. There are still good songs on here. And if you do listen to the You Still Can't Kill Us acoustic version of this album, you can hear like the meat of the songwriting there. But we're dealing with the studio release. So off of this album, what'd you go with?
So my short list was You Were Wrong. And my top pick was You Can't Kill Us.
And I find this funny because I think really of the songs that we've picked, even the songs that we've shortlisted, I think so far only Cynics and Critics has been like a cross pick for both of us, because I have completely different picks off of this disc. So but this is the beauty part of it, though. This is the good part about the show, is that people do listen to music differently. So you're going to get a cross section on this show of how people listen to it and what kind of works for them and what doesn't. So on my short list, I had War, which I was really kind of blown away with that. And they do some really good slow songs, and The Magic, but Happy Hurts. It's a good song, but the lyrics stand out from this. Like, just listen to this. Just listen to this turn of phrase, okay? Trying to make my misery just a piece of my history, a little less victim, a little more victory. Like, there's some good, powerful messaging in this song, even though you might be thrown off by the title Happy Hurts. There is something in these lyrics that you can grab onto if you're looking for some positivity. And that's, I think, something that they do very well, is inject a lot of positivity into their lyrics. Next up, a pandemic later, released in 2021, is Amorphous, the first album produced for them by David Thulin. Released February 19th of that year, there were 7 songs released as singles, none of them charted. Holy crap, though. 5 years away from the You Can't Kill Us album, they released Amorphous in the middle of the pandemic, and this is a monster freaking album.
Oh, yeah.
There's something to be said about when you get the right producer who gets it, who understands your vibe, and is able to help you as an artist translate that onto record. That's when you get magic. Amorphous may be, personal opinion, Icon for Hire's best album, period. Second only by the next album that we're going to talk about later. But how was Amorphous for you? Because it is a bit of a left turn into a more cinematic approach.
I one of the standout notes that I wrote was that by far their best, like up until then. I'm not a huge fan of like these overture and little opening tracks or transition tracks, because Mariana's Trench also does that, and I'm just kind of like, I get it, you're trying to paint the big picture, but for me it kind of takes me out of it, opposed to just hearing us like one track at a time. But I get the work behind it. I get why they do what they do. But yeah, no, this was by far the most enjoyable for me personally, who doesn't listen like regularly to this type of genre of music. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about the tracks.
Well, off of Amorphous, first of all, did you listen to the extended edition? Because there's the regular version and there's the extended edition on Spotify. So there's a few extra songs in there for you to listen to. But what did you go with off of Amorphous?
My short list says Seeds, but also most of the album. And then my top pick was Enemies.
Yeah, Enemies really. I honestly, dear listeners, if you get a chance to, like, if you're looking for a way to dive into Icon for Hire, just start with this album. I know it's not their first. Listen to Scripted for sure. Scripted is very good, but holy crap, this album is going to have you blown away. I had Brittle, Background Sad, and Waste My Hate on my short list, and this was a battle because I was sitting there listening to a few of these again and again, but I ended up settling on Only a Story. Holy crap, this is everything that you want out of this. This song was a jaw drop moment for me. I'm sitting there, I'm driving in the car, I'm on the DVP, driving very slow, and anyone who lives in the Toronto area and you drive on the DVP, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But this was one of those songs where I'm listening to it, and I kept on, thankfully it was slow driving, I kept on looking at my stereo. I'm like, holy crap, this is a really good, let me play that again. This is a really freaking good song. Like, it blew my mind. It blew my mind how good this song was. And again, coming off of You Can't Kill Us, because when I do these, I don't know if you're the same way, when I go through these albums, I go through them chronologically. So I was just coming off of You Can't Kill Us. I'm like, okay, it's good. Morphous comes out like, oh, this is awesome. This song, holy crap.
No, I totally agree. Like, if anybody's gonna listen to this band for the first time, definitely start with this album. I feel like, oh man, like if you look at the releases, right? Scripted, perfect, and then it should have went Amorphous.
I mean, there's still some stuff off of Icon for Hire, and I think Happy Hurts from You Can't Kill Us, with a little bit of extra production work, would fit well into this disc, or maybe even The Reckoning.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
I can only imagine, like, if they ever put together a best of, and yeah, there's enough off of all 5 of these discs to sprinkle through the whole thing. By the way, dear listeners, I was talking earlier about, going to see this band live, and we always say on the show, go see the band live before you can't see the band live. Well, Louisville, Kentucky, get freaking ready, because Icon for Hire is going to be at Louder Than Life on the Saturday. And I'm telling you right now, if I was going to Louder Than Life this year, I wouldn't even leave that stage on the Saturday. Listen to this lineup, okay? You're opening with Diamante. You got Cami Kehoe, you got Icon for Hire, Orianthi, Lindsey Sterling, In This Moment, and Hailstorm. All on the same stage. Holy frick. Yeah. I wouldn't leave that stage. I really wouldn't.
I think Icon for Hire and Hailstorm together, just for me personally, is worth being at that stage. Boom.
Well, I mean, and I since we were talking about Amorphous and how it's got a much more cinematic feel, if Lindsey Sterling were to join Icon for Hire for one of these songs, like a song like Only a Story, holy freaking crap, would that not kill? Absolutely would kill. So yeah, if you're at Louder Than Life, make sure you go to that stage on the Saturday. You will not be disappointed. We end our run with The Reckoning, released September 30th, 2022. There were 5 singles, none of them charted. Also produced by David Thulin again. So obviously it works. And this album is actually really good too. I find there's a lot more bangers on this. Like, Amorphous was a very cinematic experience. The Reckoning feels like a much more pump your fist in the air, we're about to drop some awesome rock on you kind of album.
Yeah, it's giving you're about to reach the climax of this amazing like movie, right? I feel like if they went the cinematic route again, but had like a little, if they dialed it back a little bit, it'd be like the beginning leading up to the action scene, The Reckoning being the action scene, and then, you know, have that next follow-up album be the conclusion. I feel would be really nice.
So you're saying in the Lord of the Rings kind of trilogy, this is kind of the this is the Battle of Two Towers. Okay.
Yes.
I see where we're going with this right now. If this were Star Wars, there'd be a bunch of Ewoks happening. I get it. I understand. We're all good. But off The Reckoning, what did you go with?
My short list is Diseased. And my top pick was Ready for Combat.
I'm fascinated because none of our picks match. I love this for this episode because none of our picks match. Because again, we also get to talk more about some of these songs and more of the songs on the disc. And I was flip-flopping on this one. This was a knockdown, drag-out fight because on one hand, there's All I See Is Darkness, and that kind of fits into the Amorphous kind of vibe where it's got that cinematic feel to it. I had Breakdown and Sunflower on my shortlist as well, but dear listeners, I am a bassist. I am a bassist who's never really got to play that big giant stage. If ever I was to do an Icon for Hire song, this is the song, Dismantled. This bass is such a rally cry on this. Like, I am hoping for Icon for Hire fans that when they take the stage of Louder Than Life, this song, like open the show with this song or play it second, because that bass, just sit on that bass intro and then just live for days. Because this is the song you want at a concert. This is a song you want to hear the crowd for. You will raise your fist, you will raise the horns, and you will just bow down to the epicness of that bass line in Dismantled. You're trying to picture it now, aren't you?
Yeah, like I also have it playing quietly in my ear while you're like talking it up. I'm just like, yeah, I see it.
Right.
I see it.
You could easily picture, that bass just walk up to the front of the stage, just sit on that bass line for a while, goose the crowd. Oh, Louder Than Life, you guys are in for a treat. All right, so now we've gone through all 5 albums. It's time to pick just one. So, Alex, remind our listeners what your 5 songs were. And then from those 5, if there can only be one Icon for Hire song, what's it going to be?
All right. So from Scripted, I picked Only a Memory. From Icon for Hire, I picked Counting on Hearts. For You Can't Kill Us, I picked You Can't Kill Us. For Amorphous, I picked Enemies. And for The Reckoning, I picked Ready for Combat. And if I could just pick one song, for me, it would be Enemies.
Fair. It's completely fair.
So
basically anything off the Amorphous album. Let's just be honest here. All right. From Scripted, I went with Pieces. From 2013 self-titled release, I went with Rock and Roll Thugs. From 2016's You Can't Kill Us, I went with Happy Hurts. From Amorphous, I went with Only a Story. And from the 2022 release, The Reckoning, I went with the super bass line of Dismantled. But if there can only be one Icon for Hire song, and it's I haven't even written this down yet, because I was sitting there in my mind, I'm like, I'm just going to go through this, and maybe as I'm going through, the song's going to leap out at me. But really, it's a battle between Pieces and Only a Story. As much as I like Dismantled, those are the 2 songs. Pieces is the one that kind of gets played in my Spotify liked songs playlist a lot, because it just kind of pops up. And by the way, if you're ever listening to an artist or an album, and then you get to the end of the album, dear listeners, this Spotify trickery 101 here, right? You get to the end of the album and you forget to like switch things up. It's just going to start playing songs that are kind of related to that artist. Don't change it. You never know who's going to pop up. This is how you discover new music in 2026. This is literally how I discovered Icon for Hire. I was listening to, I can't remember who I was listening to. It might have been Amaranth. And then one of their songs came on, and I think it was actually Pieces. And I'm just like, no, I know who I was listening to. I was listening to Yonaka. And I was like, okay, this is cool. I like it. And then Icon for Hire comes on, like, but who is this? Next thing you know, I'm doing an episode talking about all 5 of their albums, because I listened to Spotify, and it's like Netflix. If you like this, you might like this. Guess what? I did. I liked it. And I'm going with Only a Story. Although any day, if I get a chance to play Dismantled, I will jump at that chance. But holy crap, Only a Story is a jaw drop of a song. Amorphous is a jaw drop of an album. Icon for Hire. If you get a chance, go see them live. Alex, thank you so much for this. Now, remind our listeners what you've been up to and where they can find you out there on the interwebs.
I have been working my butt off with the photography, videography business that I also do with my lovely wife, Natalie. And where you could find me is on YouTube at AC Official Music Page and on Instagram at Photographs by AC. And prepare to have your mind blown away with all the cool visuals and cool remixes.
All right, dude. Thank you so much. And to you, our dear listeners, until next time, you know the drill. If there's an artist that you want us to cover on There Can Only Be One, or an album you want us to cover on Spin, Shuffle, Skip, hit us up on social media at OnlyOneCast or go to our website, notthatbadcast.com. Until that next time, he's Alex, I'm Jay, you guys are awesome. This is There Can Only Be One, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Take care.